GM, welcome to what's going to be another fantastic episode of DevNTell. So if you didn't know, DevNTell is a 30-minute podcast allowing founders, hackers, and anyone in between the opportunity to come on the show and showcase what they built. And today I'm ecstatic to welcome Hadan Esperidiao, who is the community lead at Tessera. So if you're not familiar, Tessera is the first permissionless platform that lets anybody trade tokenized private equities with real share backing, instant settlement, and 24/7 availability. So if you stick around for today's episode, you'll get to meet Hadan, learn about Tessera, and how you can get started using them today. All right, let's get into it. GM, welcome to the show, Hadan. It's a pleasure to have you on, man.
GM, Narp, good to talk to you.
Likewise. Yeah, I guess before we get into all the great things, Tessera, perhaps would you like to give a brief introduction about yourself?
Sure. I guess in a nutshell, my background is, undergrad physics degree at Harvard. Post Harvard, I was in investment banking on the sales and trading desk and structured products at Goldman Sachs for about a decade. And then I stepped out of iBanking right around when DeFi really started to come online. It just was, written on the wall to me that this was really the future direction finance was going in. Initially, I was just kind of a community member trader. Then beginning like in 2020, I started joining and worked with different projects, initially in the Bitcoin DeFi space. And most recently, I've long been very bullish on RWAs. And then, when Tessera kind of approached me that private equity RWAs, then, kind of like all the sevens lined up on the slot machine. And I was like, I've got to be a part of this. So, yeah, that kind of takes me to being here today.
Amazing. And yeah, I've seen RWAs really start to pop off late last year and into this year. I guess, do you attribute it to any one particular thing that's kind of help them bring them back into the spotlight?
Yeah, I think I mean, as early as 2021, I feel for a long time RWAs was kind of a buzzword. That was, kind of like suggesting mass adoption or something that was coming down the line in the future. To me, this always felt like what the end game of what we were building in crypto was. That, we were building the rails and the infrastructure that were beginning with these, on-chain tokens, collectibles, NFTs, meme coins, but that we were basically, testing out a system that would inevitably be able to handle the hundreds of trillions of dollars that trade daily in bonds, commodities, equities, because it is so much faster. It is more secure. Settlement is more instantaneous. It's permissionless. It's global. It's 24/7. And so I thought, inevitably we would always get here. I think just in 2025 alone, we've seen like a 10x growth in RWA market cap. I think right now it's about 20 billion on chain. Of that 20 billion, a good 19 billion of that is like treasuries, private credit, so like debt instruments. Equities are kind of new, things like Ondo Finance. That's maybe just like an $800 million segment. And private equities are sort of just like a brand new and fresh. But that's kind of the one I'm the most excited about, because that's the one that retail doesn't have access to in any other way right now.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. And I guess that's kind of the obvious one of the obvious hurdles of like the private equity spaces. Not everybody has access to that. I guess can you speak to some of the other challenges that kind of surround private equities and why it may be that like regular folks can't access it?
Sure. And so basically, I guess just to put it in a nutshell, in the beginning of the sort of 1900s, anyone could sort of like raise a company, sell shares. As a result, a whole lot of people were kind of getting scammed. And so, like kind of following the 1929 crash and Great Depression, you have all these very heavy regulations that were put into place. And these kind of definitely vary depending on where you are in the world. But particularly in the U.S., where a lot of these very hot private equity companies are located, in order to participate in private equities, so that means shares in private companies before they IPO and go public, you have to have accredited investor status. And typically, the requirements for that are things such as a minimum of 1 million net worth, excluding your home, typically a minimum of 2 to 300K income. Basically, you're writing a minimum 6-figure check. You're signing up for a lockup period that could be years long. And so this basically excludes a good, 99% of the population from being able to hold and participate or have private equity exposure. And so that's what's kind of, frustrating, is that like every day we're reading articles about OpenAI, SpaceX, Kalshi, Polymarket. And as bullish as you feel about these companies, it's wild how we've been conditioned to be passive about the fact that you can't just go out and have exposure to these things you feel so bullish on. And so I feel that with tokenization and through Tessera, we're finding a way to kind of bridge that gap and being private equity to everyone, which is kind of the sort of Tessera tagline.
Excellent, excellent, and it's a perfect segue again into I guess what would you say is your pitch of Tessera? Like what is it? What problems does it solve?
Sure. And so, so what Tessera does is that we go and we buy positions in these massive companies that are looking to IPO. So just a week or two ago, we had our first Alpha Vault launch of SpaceX exposure, SpaceX tokens. And so we sort of take these positions, we tokenize them, we have them in basically a portfolio segregated companies, meaning a company that just exists to hold the shares. We have these independently audited. That auditing is fed through Chainlink reserves. And so you have basically online verification that there's one-to-one backing of your exposure to shares held. And then basically, once those tokens are live, you can trade them for 24/7. On Meteora, for instance, right now, SpaceX trading is live. So you can either trade that if you want to get into or out of the position instantaneously, or if you want to hold it through IPO. Once there is the IPO, whatever that sort of wherever Tessera is able to get out of that position at, is where you can then take your Tessera tokens and come to the platform, and during the redemption window, you can burn them for stable coins. So basically, you capture that kind of spread between the valuation, the implied valuation of where you purchased that, to where you have that exit. If not, and if you have a shorter time frame, you can of course buy and trade on Meteora. But that's basically the sort of idea in a nutshell, how you get exposure to private equity companies on chain and permissionlessly on Solana at the moment.
Awesome. Yeah, I was gonna also ask what chain you guys are starting off with. Yeah, it seems like a lot of companies that are looking to get or bring RWAs and private and equities and whatnot on chain. A lot of them are kind of shifting towards the Solana side of things. Whereas like
Right.
early on, you saw like a lot of people were going on the Ethereum side of things, anything EVM, layer twos, but that kind
Right.
of sentiment has shifted slightly. I guess from your guys' perspective, like why Solana? Why go with them first?
Sure. So yeah, I would say, so Solana first. I would say that, we do have a medium long-term multi-chain vision. But I think beginning on Solana, one is the infrastructure. It's the very low fees. It's the instantaneous settlement. It's the high on-chain, volume and activity. It's the community as well that I think is very kind of active and apt to prompt and trade. whether it's kind of like meme coins or RWA tokens, and also support from the Solana Foundation, who have been, basically made internet capital markets one of their core metas for 2026. 2026 also being what the New York Times describes as the year of the mega IPO. So, I feel like these metas are really like lining up in a really strong way towards exactly what we're doing and what we're building and taking to market.
100%. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of big name companies rumored to be IPOing, like SpaceX. You mentioned is one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
OpenAI, maybe Anthropic. Like who knows
Mhm.
what else? And I guess, and from Tesra's perspective, like what goes into determining like which equities to kind of bring to the public first? So you mentioned SpaceX is live now.
Right.
Um, and is there, I guess, any formula, any strategy kind of behind which ones to bring up next?
Sure. I mean, I would say initially, especially since we're just a few weeks out from launch, we're basically looking to we're basically looking to the community and to bring to market the names that people recognize and the names that people want, and also companies that we know that are both massive and also likely to IPO in like a 12 to 24-month period. And so, that's essentially where we're looking at. One is that this allows the community to get familiar with how that, once a company IPOs, how that redemption period, burn token, receive stablecoin mechanism works. Another is also just the sort of brand recognition and sort of supply and demand, right? It's like if people recognize these names, these are names that people are highly bullish on, that they sort of like read about in a news article, and they feel this kind of FOMO of like, man, like I wish I was a holder. I wish I had some Kalshi or Polymarket or OpenAI. That makes them all the more likely to participate and engage with the platform. So just kind of as sort of like an icebreaker, that's kind of what we're targeting.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds amazing. And you mentioned you're a couple of weeks from launch. Is there any way for people who are watching today to kind of get into like a wait list or get basically front end line to start playing around with Tesla?
Yeah, sure. So we took our Alpha Vault launch live on February 12th. So SpaceX tokens are T SpaceX, it would be, are trading live on Meteora. I would say for people to definitely give our X account a follow, Tessera_PE. Our website is Tessera.pe. You can check out our sort of app there, and to follow just also just for news updates. The next that we have in the pipeline will be Kalshi, which we're very excited to sort of launch as well. And so yeah, I think especially the way our sort of like Alpha Vault launches worked with SpaceX, you had to be whitelisted to participate. So there was a reason right there to sort of like join and sign up. I believe it'll be. I'm going to see what the Kolshi mechanism is going to be. We might kind of tweak that a bit based on community feedback. But knowing about it, being the sort of first to participate is definitely an advantage. And I'd also add in that we've kind of structured our token. It's baked into the Tesera tokens with the 2022 standard that 60 that basically 35% of all of protocol revenue goes to our referral network. So if you go to Tesera and you sign up and you create a referral code, anyone that you provide that referral code to that signs up, you receive 30% directly of those fees. Then it's 3% of whoever they refer, and then 2% of those friends of friends. And so we definitely believe in kind of rewarding our users and building these kind of like of viral mechanisms into the token itself. And so that's another reason to kind of get in early, because the earlier you do, the bigger your potential graph can grow as Tesera gets discovered, as people find out, all of these very hot companies are live and trading, and you can get exposure to them on it. So these are all opportunities that are available by being early to sign up and join.
Amazing, amazing, and yeah, we'll have all those links in the description of the podcast below, so folks can get started there. And
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like this sounds like a really amazing product. Like, what's the origin story behind it? Like, what was the motivation behind kind of starting it beyond kind of just like the private equities barriers?
Sure. I think really, and a lot of a lot of the sort of Tessera team comes from a finance background. And so there's always been this kind of vision of kind of democratizing finance. I think so much of what TradFi, like is sort of propped up by these artificial standards and gates that are meant to make what they do and accessible to the sort of general public. It's almost this kind of like cabal, like insular world where they have their own language, and you have these expensive buildings with like big marble lobbies. But really, at the end of the day, that's because they deal with such a concentrated pool of the sort of wealthiest. And if you look at what private equity is right now, it's basically one of the biggest wealth creation engines in existence. It's one of the big reasons why the rich get richer, because they have access to buying SpaceX really early on, and you don't. There was even a story about like how Google wrote SpaceX a check for 900 million when they were at a 12 billion valuation. And if SpaceX IPOs, which seems to be the general discussion, at around 1.5, 1.6 trillion, that means Google will have an over 100x return. And you're going to hear about that 100x, and most people will think like, man, like I was late, but you weren't late. You were never allowed in. You've been locked out by design. And so, Tessera is about just like breaking down those gates and breaking down those barriers so that right now you can go connect your wallet and get SpaceX exposure really like literally within like minutes, if not seconds, if you're quick, of listening to this on this podcast. So, that's really what we sort of believe. We believe that to close the wealth gap, you have to close the fairness gap. And so if we, these products that we know well, that we've in the past life delivered to the wealthy, if we can deliver that universally to everyone, I think that is more of the kind of world that we want to live in and that we want our kids to grow up in, where just equality of opportunity is universal rather than kind of segregated by caste.
Yeah, wonderfully said. And I think it complements kind of the whole ethos of DeFi and bringing kind of payments on chain is like
Absolutely.
not a lot of people outside of like North America realize like how hard it is to even set up like a bank account, for example, right? It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
like a lot of this technology kind of brings people from 0 to 1, and then to get to 1 to 2 to 3 and so on and so forth, we kind of like build on top of this. And I think, yeah, Tesla sounds like certainly part of the solution here. Um, in terms of like the broader landscape of similar competitors, like what would you say Tesla does better than those, or differently than those?
Sure. I would say one of the big differentiators is one, we have 100% transparent on-chain verifiability as to our proof of reserves through Chainlink. Like all our token minting, burning, creation is handled through Fireblocks for security. And also, having come from a financial and structured products background, we've really brought a bit of legal innovation to the way that Tesera exposure is set up, so that there's absolutely no KYC upon cash out or at any point in using the sort of Tesera platform. So keeping just like privacy first, I think is a huge leg up that we offer that others don't.
Awesome, awesome. And I mean, this year in particular, we've really seen kind of like the rise of like AI has become much more mainstream, much more capable.
Totally.
And a lot of people have started messing around with, at least people in the crypto scene have been kind of messing around with agents that can trade, agents that can trade with each other. I guess, are there any plans to integrate AI in any form on the platform, or does it already exist there?
No, well, I would say, yeah, I would say already, just like in building out our sort of our workflows, and building out sort of like our sort of like our FAQs and our TG chat supports. That's definitely implemented. Like our devs, and that's kind of including myself. We're all just kind of like AI like fanatics across the board. So I would say at the moment our kind of key points are kind of like rolling out those first few private equities to build that sort of Tessera portfolio. But without a doubt, that's the direction I think everything is going in. I think like the vast majority of online trading is going to be agents trading with agents. And so, yeah, I think actually just on last week's call, just maybe a little bit of alpha, but we are building an MCP version of our website that is specifically geared for bots to be able to browse and scrape and get the info they need, so that they can respond most accurately, and also just let users who ask know right away how they can right away get plugged into Tessera, or even have their bots interact with Tessera. So yeah, absolutely. We love it in all the ways.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of the different kinds of ideas people are having around this, and yeah, I think definitely it's going to be like agents trading with agents. Like we'll all have our own like investment agents that kind of build up our portfolios, trade with each other, and whatnot.
Yeah, because
Uh,
it's almost like, right, anything that you can do behind the screen that involves just pointing and clicking and watching. It's like, wouldn't you rather, like be outside, like lying on some grass, baking in the sun, and have your agent just doing that for you, and it just sends you, a TG message that your order was filled, order was hit, what your P&L is, and then you sort of like get back and you talk to it, and you're like, I think we got to tweak this a bit because I think you could have made like 5% more, or, so yeah, I think that's without a doubt that's where it's going, and that's where at the end it should be, and people will be glad that it is. Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, time is one of the most valuable things people have in their lives, right? And if we can get
exactly.
more of it back with agents kind of doing the boring work for us, like why not, right?
Yeah,
Um,
like
yeah,
watching screens and clicking on buttons, right? Yeah, have
exactly,
an agent do it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so certainly a very exciting and interesting time we live in, to say the least.
the
And
best of
I
times,
guess
the best
best
of
of
times.
times. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And you mentioned it, yeah, with the alpha there. But I guess, is there anything else that you might want to share with the audience in terms of the roadmap for Tesera? I know you guys are just about to launch, but is there anything that you might want to touch on in terms of the roadmap for the rest of the year?
Ooh, well, I think it's going to be this kind of like consistent rollout of these big, of these sort of big name private equity companies. So, SpaceX, like launched. That launch was, oversubscribed. It went ultra smooth. Gunkalshi is coming up next. Launch date to be determined. And as what comes after that, I can't yet reveal. It's still in active discussions, but yeah, we're certainly pinging community members and discussing behind the scenes. If anyone wants to leave in comments or anything else, what's the sort of one private company you really well you wouldn't even hesitate to hold right now if you could? Let us know, and we're going to look towards bringing that out.
Yeah,
For sure.
awesome. I mean, so for places that people can do that, you guys have a Telegram community, Discord community. What's the best place for people to kind of get involved?
Um, So I would say definitely our main portal would be our X account at Tessera underscore PE. Our Telegram, is great too, with just, announcements and separate channels for discussing the sort of separate equities that have kind of gone live. We aren't on Discord at the moment. Uh, but yeah, I would say X for sure is where the kind of like latest news kind of comes out.
It does. Yeah, it's very interesting. Like a lot of things, a lot of news, tech related or not, kind of breaks on X now,
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get lost in the scroll
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Real
if you
time
get too
news,
deep.
right? Yeah,
That's
it's
right,
like the real time feed.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess as we're kind of coming to time here, just kind of wanted to have you have an opportunity to maybe give some advice to some of the people watching today who might be kind of on the fence of wanting to get involved in DeFi, or maybe they want to kind of take the leap of faith and start their career in the blockchain space. With sentiment kind of low, the now, maybe because of the market or whatnot, like what words of encouragement would you give for a person kind of like, oh, like should I step into this space now or not?
Sure. Well, I would say, it's funny because when everything is kind of like booming and nearing all time highs, that's when everyone catches FOMO fever and decides to jump in, and then when that kind of wave kind of like pulls back, everyone's like, oh, like crypto is dead, crypto's a scam, I want nothing to do with it. And so, I guess consistently, just speaking as from like a career as a trader, most traders do well because they sort of play that contrarian position. Like when the trade gets crowded one way, you kind of go the other. And so I think right now, in that kind of like a bear market, it's a great time for building. It's a great time to sort of take a step back, analyze the sort of fundamentals of what's on offer, and understand that these may be discount levels to kind of get in. Understand also that the world is changing faster than it ever has, and what we've known as blockchain and crypto is going to be evolving as quickly as the AI space is. And I think already with RWAs, like you are seeing that, where crypto isn't necessarily so much going to be defined by kind of the meme coin casino, though of course that will always be there. But these are, again, real world assets, like real companies, thousands of employees, real cash revenue and income flows that we're sort of taking on chain. And again, you're going to have an access through it, through the blockchain, just through your crypto wallet, in a way that you cannot get in the real world. You can't go, to your broker. You can't go to Robinhood. I mean, just try it. Go out and try to see if you can get, shares of SpaceX and all the flaming hoops you're going to have to jump through, versus taking, literally like 30 seconds, 2 minutes with it, with an on-chain wallet, and you can have that real one-to-one backed exposure. So yeah, I mean, look at those fundamentals. Are you bullish space? Because SpaceX, to me, it's more than just like rocket launches and you know it's the fact that, kind of as Elon says, if you think the AI boom is going to continue, without a doubt, the best place for sort of data centers and in the future, quantum computing centers is in orbit, where you have near zero temperatures and you have unfiltered, sunlight 24/7. And so, so yeah, I'm just I'm very bullish on these theses, very bullish on these companies. I'm really excited that, through Tessera, I can have exposure. We can bring that exposure, to anyone else who's willing to sort of participate. And that the time to get familiar with things is, again, when you're early, you know, and now you have that chance to sort of be early before everyone knows about it, before it becomes, crowded, before those potential pricing opportunities are arbitraged away. So it's real, it's alive now. More are coming. Always do your own research. Not financial advice, but hey guys, check it out, because this is very very kind of like frontier, both finance and very frontier for RWA crypto.
Excellent. And yeah, the perfect way to end things off here. Hadan, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come chat with us today. I know I share the same sentiment with you. I'm very bullish on basically all the things that you just said.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tessera, like breaking down those barriers, having giving people the opportunity to invest in these amazing companies before they go public. I think that's an awesome thing, and really shows the power of bringing all finance kind of on chain here.
Yeah. And RB, thank you so much for having me, on the show today. Awesome questions, great vibes, especially for someone who's currently in Mortar.
That's right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I tried the fumes. I'm immune to the fumes now.
Nice,
So
nice. Yeah.
yeah.
All
uh,
right. Well, thanks again. And yeah, anytime, happy to for any follow-up questions, and hope we have a chance to sort of talk again and maybe meet in person at some of these conferences one way or another in the coming months, years. All right. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Absolutely. It
All
will
right.
be a
And thanks
pleasure.
everyone for watching. Appreciate you guys.
100%. And yeah, with that, just want to wish everybody a very happy Friday, happy weekend, wherever you may be. And we'll catch you back here for another episode of DevNTell next week. Till then, have a good one, folks. Cheers.
Take care, guys. Private equity for everyone.
Indeed.